All you gotta do is hush, you ain't gotta say much when you make that right connection. If you wanna double up, keep the money in the tuck, I can put you in the right direction. I can never get enough, all I got is us, I speak the true confessions. Everything goes smooth cause I stay on the move and make them right connections. All you gotta do is hush, you ain't gotta say much when you make them right connections. If you wanna double up, keep the money in the tuck, I can put you in the right direction. I can never get enough, all I got is us, I speak the true confession. Everything goes smooth cause I stay on the move and make them right connections.
You already know the vibes. We are here. And you know when I got my girl Carrie next to me, you know what type of time we on. We are here to make the cultures connect. What's going on with you, Carrie?
What is going on in the kitchen? Big Wall. I tell you, this interview has been a long time coming, of course. As we know, Big Wall's like, Carrie, do you want to? No, first I think it was supposed to be this show. And then Big Wall's like, hey, Carrie, maybe he can be on your show. And I was like, that's fine. And then we ended up almost interviewing somebody else that was state representative. Yeah. And then no, we're going to have him on our show. And I was like, okay, that's good. Because our guest this evening is running for state in Illinois. So it makes more sense that he's on this show. Than my show being Canadian because you know so worked out really good. So I'm a little excited to be able to do this one because like I said, it's been a long time running, and I think it's to the point now where we have a good audience to be able to have someone of this caliber come onto our show and be able to talk about the important things that he stands for, and especially because you are in Illinois, he's from Illinois, and you guys can discuss things that are maybe on, what's going through your head and what, you want to pick his brain and kind of a little bit more, which is really important. So this is really cool. Like I said, it's one of these things that I'm just like, oh, this should be interesting because we've had so many different guests on this show, such a wide variety. So this is going to be something a little bit different, something that, it's one of those things where it's however, our show isn't as formal. So it'll be kind of fun to be able to banter around a little bit and have a little bit of fun while touching on the serious side of politics. So this should be interesting.
Yes. This interview that I've been looking for, man. He's experienced in life, and throughout it all, the top. He's a constant professional. You know what I'm saying? Some days he leaves the room, his passion. He stands with certain principles and morals. I'm so proud of him. And the angle and the direction of his life. So we have to bring him all the world can tap in with a broad audience. He's one of them people that not just the states in America. He's going to work. So it come on the show. He ain't gonna take too much time. Go ahead and bring band. Come back. What's going on?
How you doing?
Welcome to the show. Okay. Big Wall seems to be super choppy on his end, so hopefully we'll be able to get something going here. Oh, there, he left us now. That's just
how I know. I could hear the echo going. It was got really bad.
It was something was happening, that's for sure. Well, this is the beauty of having a live show, is that one person disappears, the other person's around. This is how it is. And you're both like in the States. Oh yeah. See, I can hear the echo too. Now.
Well, I'm sure you can carry the show.
I've been known to carry a few things. Yes. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. The bad jokes just pour out of.
The dad jokes. Oh my goodness. Is this what you do for like is this like the lighter side, the humorous side that you want everyone to know and be like, hey, this is who I am? Or is this just like,
You know what? I have to tell you, I am authentic. What you see is what you get.
Good. That's good, because sometimes when someone is running for politics, and I don't know too much about state politics because I'm from Canada, and it's really interesting because I'm not really big into politics at all. Just more recently, over the past couple of years, I've been a little bit more interested in it because of the pandemic and everything like that, and just learning a little bit more about our governments and about all these different aspects of it. So, so hopefully you can teach me a couple things as well, because I don't know a lot, but I do know that, running for a state rep, you want to be, you do want to kind of represent who you are, I think personally on the inside, because you want people to like who you are, not just for what you stand for, right?
Well, the most important thing is that I get a chance to show people how human I am.
Yeah.
And it allows people to see how human they are.
Yeah.
I think we wear a lot of labels in life. And sometimes we just got to get rid of the whole playbook.
Which is good. Because sometimes I think being too serious is not a good thing, right?
You are absolutely right. We've got to lighten up a little bit so we can make sure that we are fully getting a chance to live.
Yes, there we go. Okay, yeah, introduce yourself, because I don't even really know. We've never ever met before the show or anything. Just a little bit about, you can share as much as you want or as little as what you want. Just kind of about who you are. And maybe, a few things of what you really do stand for that you want everyone to kind of know.
Absolutely. My name is Van Ikner. I am running for Illinois State Representative here in the newly formed 118th District in Southern Illinois. We represent the counties of Jackson, William, Union, Pulaski, and Alexander County. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a delay every time I speak. So it's like
I'll be like, and
then I add a little something to it. So y'all, everybody that's listening in the Culture Connection, please forgive me for having a little bit of a delay as I speak. I'm actually listening to the echo, and then I'm waiting for myself to finish, and then I start speaking again. Hope it's not much of a distraction, because we're going to have a lot of fun talking about government and talking about participation and talking about the real things that we need to be talking about, is about bringing our communities back together. That's my gift, Carrie. I get to be the guy that brings everybody to the table and make sure that when we get up from the table, that we leave from the table brothers and sisters, so that we can still be family.
Absolutely. I think that's so important. Yeah, well, this is going to be a tough show because we're getting some feedback, and we're coming from God. So we're going to try and play this out the best as we can. How is it sounding on your end?
It's getting better. It's actually getting better. I think it's either getting better or I'm getting used to it.
Oh my goodness!
I know, I know we lost Big Wall out there, but he'll sneak back in, and he'll be our comic relief.
Oh yeah, this is going to be quite the interesting. Well, I hope he does come back on, because I know he's going to have a lot more questions for you than I will. So I want you just to maybe, because I don't know how this will go on, but what are some things as a leader that you think is important to kind of tell everybody about yourself? Like, what do you think are some of the really good qualities to have as just a leader in general?
One thing, Carrie, I build myself, and I'm one of you. And I think that we recognize that we are living in a time that leadership looks like people that want to encourage people to help the most vulnerable people in our community. We want leaders that know how to put their capes on and champion a cause. We want leadership that knows how to quiet the divisive conversations that go on in rooms and recognize when the problem is themselves. A lot of times our egos get in the way and we wind up having conversations that are only about someone's agenda when the conversation has to remain rooted about the people. We have a platform, and every time we're given a voice, it can't be to say that the sky is falling. We have to come with information, we have to provide people with access, and we have to encourage other people to participate. Did I lose?
No, I'm still here.
You guys hear me?
We can hear you.
The bottom of the screen, Carrie. There's an image of a young lady and it has something next to her.
She says, okay, he's working through it smoothly. The show must go on.
Let's go on. I love it. You got to read it. These glasses are stick for a reason. I see shapes and colors.
Sometimes they see numbers, not always shapes and colors.
Can you guys
love it? I've only had my glasses for about a year now. And a lot of people don't even know I wear glasses, which is interesting. But it's more or less to see far away because I'm nearsighted. So quite often I don't even need that for this show. But everyone was wearing glasses today. And I'm like, I'm going to break mine out. So
right. You said I might as well wear mine too.
Join the club.
But I wear my glasses to disarm people. It seems like I'm less threatening when I have my glasses on. It's like my secret identity. I feel like Clark Kent. Hold on, wait a minute. Before I come up and I start greeting folks, I'm like, let me put my glasses on.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to have to come in because it's so choppy. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to have to make it through it. But long as you guys can hear me, Van, I have a serious question because I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep it, but I do want to get certain points out. Why is this election important for you to throw your hat in? And why was it so important for you to pick this time to do it? Because you have always been somebody that worked with the people and had your hands in the community and doing so many things for the longest. So why was it important for you and this time to want to take this route and try to affect the culture?
The sense of urgency is real. I think that a lot of times in life we don't actually understand that our spirits talk to us. And in my spirit, I've been hearing that I have a love that my gift is encouragement to the community. There's been so much divisiveness going on. I'm a father of 4 adult young men and 1 baby girl. And what's amazing is that we have to pass the torch to this generation. And it's important for us not to be a generation that is the blind, that is leading the blind. My grandfather was 98 years old, World War II veteran. And I think one thing that he instilled into me before he got ready to pass is don't die old and wrong. As a society, we have the love debt of passing some real character on to the next generation. And I believe that we got to come and sit down at the table and we got to really talk to one another because we're missing real communication opportunities in order to really help plant the right seeds and bear the right fruit. Our babies that are out here, they are desiring leadership. They're desiring their parents and their grandparents to be able to come together and solve problems. And we can't be as contentious as the news makes us out to be. We can't be as contentious as the positions that different papers take and present to our community. We have to get past the noise and get past the rhetoric and let our children and make each other in our communities as the adults understand that we are like a synthetic cotton blend, that none of us are purely red or purely blue or Republicans or Democrats or Greens or Independents. We're people. We're people. All of these labels are things that we subscribe to ourselves. And I believe that the greatest thing that we can come to understand about us as a community is what we are capable of. We have to come to the idea that as a community that we get to define what our community looks like. Taking care of the most vulnerable people in our community makes us a stronger and safer and better community. We are only as strong as our weakest link. So it's time for us to lose that callousness that we develop around our hearts and we become desensitized by. And it's time for us to sit down at the table and really come up with a strategy in order where we do a proper inventory of the people all around us, the places and the things that are available to us, and that we do the right thing by the planet Earth and we do the right thing by the people.
Yeah, I agree, man, and that's again is why like somebody like you talking to the community and reaching out to it, like people want to see and you know feel like you're that they're talking to somebody that's been through it. You know what I'm saying? That understands the struggles and hard times and everything that's going on in the world, and you are definitely that person. But let's kind of take it back from the beginning. Kind of like tell people who you are, like and just from the beginning and kind of up to this point in your transition and truly wanting to take the philanthropic role of trying to address the culture in an amazing way.
Well, man, I'm the product of my mama, and she's a single mother that raised three sons out of the city of Chicago, and who introduced us to our God thought, and who showed us what it is really like to come to an understanding of being a product of your environment and understanding our pattern of behavior. I understand that where I came from, my big brother was 7 years older than me. God rest his soul. But he was a high-ranking gang member in the Gangster Disciples. And in my community, there was that brokenness that was brought on by social mechanisms that caused Black fathers not to be in the homes with their counterparts, with Black mothers. And we grew up in a generation that we watched our Black men get incarcerated and watched them be deadbeat dads and watched them take on the stigma of being related to gang activity and being related to drug activity. And unfortunately, our communities all had to bear the unintended consequences of what it's like when your life is out of balance. I think that what's important for me right now is taking all of this experience that I have. I know I check a lot of boxes for a lot of people. I have grown up poor and know what it's like to rise up and go to college and had babies, to have my children early, gotten married and turned my life into a success through perseverance, and that I've endured those generational curses that I watched in my previous generation of having to go through our incarceration. And it has only made me a better person. I haven't become broken and I haven't become bitter. I understand that my healing is attached to my hurt. And for me, I see so many people in our communities, regardless of color or regardless of party affiliation, I see people that are vulnerable, people that are human, people that understand that we are made of flesh and that we are sensitive and that we do go through a process of learning things and unlearning things. So, who I am is the product of that environment. Who I who I ascribe to be is set up by my pattern of behavior. People always try and get me to talk to them about a period of incarceration in my life when I was a nonviolent marijuana offender that went to prison for what we know is now a traded and regulated commodity here in the state of Illinois. And my grandmother always had the terminology of saying that if it's right now, then it means that it was right then. But it's very hard to accept that school of thought when people are constantly judging me and always making that the forefront of what they want to know, when there's so much in between that dash. That period of shame, that period of being taken away from my family, that period of having to pay a debt to society, that term is past, and it is a debt that is fully paid, and I'm fully free. Justice is not punishment. So it gives me a platform and a latitude to be able to come to the table and talk about one of the issues that is really apparent in the United States is that we have become a prison nation, that we have gotten in the practice of taking people and doing the most dehumanizing thing that we can possibly do to them. And that is to take them, lock them up, incarcerate them, separate them from their families, cause all of these unintended consequences of inflicting trauma on our community, but not having a system that is more about restorative justice. But without getting all chatty about those issues, your question was about who I am and where I came from. And all of that is a part of it. That growing up as a child of a single mother, that growing up with a brother that is a mentor that was involved in the gangs. I grew up in a community where that lifestyle was not only accepted, but it was glorified. But it was during a time where, as a community, we were experiencing the influence of what we looked like in media was portrayed as pimps, players, hustlers, and womanizers. And that is something that we are unlearning as a community. And I'm hoping that we are having a better moment and that we are really setting an example that we are a resilient people and that we are a people that are healing from a lot of trauma, and that out of that trauma, we have an opportunity now to break generational curses. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to provide encouragement. I'm here to shake off the dust of all of those things that plagued our community and not be a victim of my environment, and understand the power that I have as an adult is for me to understand that it's a do-it-yourself project. That now that I have come to that rite of passage, that manhood stage in my development, that I understand what I'm capable of. And every day it's our job as people to do the possible.
That's amazing, man. Shouts out to the culture gang. I like that. Provide the right resources that will strengthen and oh my God, brother. It's so many people in the culture that's tapping in. Look, truly of the people.
Yeah.
I hear that, you know what I mean, Van. And see, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, you have the voice that connects to people on so many levels. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that's, again, is something that is rare. You know, people don't want somebody that they feel like it's a politician. You know what I mean?
No.
Or they're trying to sell them a product. You know what I mean? They want to feel like it's someone that's actually believing in them and really going to do some change. You know what I mean? And that's what's so empowering about your whole process, brother. You know what I mean?
Man, well, you know, I think that's the real blessing is that when you are authentically yourself, I make the analogy that I walk around sometimes with my heart in my hand. And my heart is in my hand, and I'm so glad I got people around me that have their head on the swivel, but my heart is in my hand, and I'm walking in a room sometimes with people that have daggers. And for me, it is being able to. They say bravery is the definition of is not the absence of fear, but it's the willingness to press on despite what you are fearful of. And I believe that as people, we always have to do best case scenario, worst case scenario. In my willingness, I find myself in this opportunity. I said yes to something that I that I was unsure about. I had to pray about this opportunity. I had to ask myself mentally, physically, spiritually, was I wanting to really take on the responsibility of putting on the hat to be a public servant? I already work as a professional mover. I'm a blue collar worker. I throw furniture for a living. And Tone, you know, the most satisfying feeling that I get is when I walk up to a total stranger's door and I let them know that I'm here to help.
Absolutely.
And instead of moving furniture, I find myself at this point that I'm moving hearts. I'm moving conversation. I'm making real connections with people and getting to the table and getting them to look at each other's love language, because we're all trying to be the champion of something. I don't care what your perspective is in life. When I talk to a 73-year-old coal miner down in Union County and he's spouting off how he wants the coal mines and he believes that we're trying to teach his children about critical race theory, what I really hear him saying is that I look past all the divisiveness and I say, oh, you're worried about the mechanism of being able to provide for your family. It's not the coal mines that he's really engaged with. It's that ability to be a provider. So we have to re-educate our people in our community that are against technologies and opportunities that are going to protect the planet and preserve the people. And we have to let them know that there's going to be new opportunities here for you to be able to fill that void, that financial responsibility by engaging in other renewable energy opportunities, being an old dog that can learn a new trade. And when I hear them talking about their granddaughters talking about critical race theory, it's one thing that we have to educate each other about a lot of stuff. People are always screaming, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Critical race theory is something that is only taught in legal and in law school, in legal settings with graduate students that are approaching issues that are on a level that collegiate students would talk about it. It's not something that's being introduced to our children that are anywhere between K through 12. It's not a topic that is even introduced in your first years of college. This is a psychological reference that they use in order to really get down to the nitty gritty when they are trying to do some really good legal analysis about where problems stem from and how they generate. Because we know that everything has a cause and effect kind of everything that has a cause has an effect. So we have to again go back to allowing those people that are on the other side of the table. We have to let them wear their capes. Everybody gets to be the hero of their own story. When I tell a story, I'm the hero of the story. When you tell a story, you get to be the hero of the story.
Absolutely.
And so I know that 73-year-old that is retired from the coal mines, that's concerned about his grandfather, that's concerned about his grandchild, is only trying to protect somebody, that is only trying to make sure they can provide for their family. But sometimes all we hear is womp 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 womp, and then we tap into that fight or flight.
Yeah.
And rather than seeking understanding, we crank the rhetoric up, and people begin to fight fire with fire instead of doing what we know is the common sense thing. You don't use fire to fight fire. You use water to put a fire out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shouts out to the culture gang. It is nice to have someone running for office that doesn't feel like he has a hidden agenda. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what we talking about, man. And you know, that's what you represent. You know what I mean? You represent that feeling in the country where, like I said, where everybody feel like they done been there. They don't want nobody that feel like they're looking down at them and judging
no,
them. They want you to be in the trenches with them. You know what I'm saying, man? And that's what you represent, man. And now just speaking about um things that's going on in the culture. Now, you know, here in Illinois, we got the PERS law, you know, the Safety Act, where everybody is feeling like, you know, it's something that's going to affect how we are in not only Illinois, just the country. You know what I mean? Where they feel like they're
right.
flipping people out and people are going to run amok and so on and so forth. So we talk about that law. Um, how how do you feel about it, and how do you think it's going to benefit the country?
Well, I got to tell you, I got two really great points about the Safety Act that people don't actually acknowledge. First of all, the sky is not falling. You're going to hear me say that a lot. We have been the victims of misinformation, and unfortunately, people have tried to weaponize the Safety Act in a way that is counterproductive to everybody that it benefits. First of all, the Safety Act, when they talk about a provision in of no cash bond, that no cash bond is to keep us from sending somebody to jail because they can't pay bond.
Absolutely, because it's about money. It's people who are in the county that's been there for years, not because they're convicted, just because they can't afford to pay bond.
They
Correct?
they can't bond out. I mean, how
Right.
many times I'm gonna tell you what really is heartbreaking is to find that single mother. This is a woman's right act. You know, this is
Okay.
because most people that are affected by this are women, are poor single mothers that get arrested on low level charges. First of all, we have to acknowledge that crime is a symptom of extreme poverty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Crime is a symptom of extreme poverty. And when we send somebody to jail or prison, they usually call that jail or prison the Department of Corrections,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So if the idea is to correct a behavior, then that means that there's an opportunity to restore someone to the community. We are all told that you are innocent until you're proven guilty. If you lock somebody up just because they can't afford to pay bond, they can't bond out, and they're innocent until they're proven guilty, isn't that an oxymoron?
Yeah.
Mm.
Doesn't that somehow leave you to the point of saying, are we really criminalizing the poor?
Yeah.
Does it mean because of someone's economic status, should that allow them to have a greater latitude of being able to have a different type of justice?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think the people that are throwing out these ideas that the prisons are going to fling open and everybody's going to be released and they're going to go home, you have to think of it this way. The Safety Act is a tax break for all of those people that we don't have to give 3 hot meals to in a cot and provide medication and have uh, a staff on hand to provide all of those services, the utility costs, the insurances, everything that is levied onto uh, the penal system in order to make it function financially. We don't have to afford those things if there are fewer people there. There are fewer people working, there's less utilities going, there's less meals going out. A penny saved is a penny earned. And then
Mm.
those people that are most affected by this, those single mothers, think
Yeah.
about this. When a single mother gets arrested, what happens?
Oh,
DHS, Department of Human Services, then has to step
take
in,
their
and then
children.
those children become wards of the state, or they have to be sent off to one of their loved ones and the situation is only compounded and it gets worse.
Yeah.
What is the real cost of incarceration?
Yeah.
What is the real cost of us as a human society? What is the real cost of us doing the most dehumanizing things to somebody else?
Right. And I want to say, like, even those children of that mother, chances are they're going to turn to crime as well, too. Right? Because they go
Cycle,
through that whole
you
thing.
create
Exactly.
that cycle of recidivism. You create that generational pattern of people going in and out of the system.
Yeah.
You create that generation of no access. You create that generation of shame, and we're doing far more harm than
Well,
we're
the
doing
kids
good.
get teased at school, and it goes on, and like you said, it is a whole entire cycle that just it can get worse and worse and worse to the point where the kids might not even want to be around, and gets to the point where, hey, I'll just take out my life, and I don't have to deal with any of this, and like it doesn't do any good at all. So I like how this point is where you're like, okay, if we can stop this whole generational cycle and nip it in the bud, do it now, because that's the best way. I totally agree. And sometimes, like you said, it's not just because, you know, they're criminals, it's because they can't afford, I think even here in Canada, sometimes, your tickets pile up if you have speeding tickets or parking tickets and then you're thrown in jail. Well, you're not like a criminal.
No.
You
Yeah.
just like ran a red light one time because you're late for work because you're trying to be on time and not
Yeah.
lose your job. And there you are in jail because you ran that late that morning, and and you can't feed your family anymore, right?
And it's about the money. Shouts out to the culture gang. Yes, please dismantle the misinformation.
Yeah.
Um, we also got a question for you, Van. So
Yes.
the law isn't about letting murderers back onto the street right after committing a crime.
No, it's not. Actually, the courts and the judges and the prosecutors and the officers, they have greater discretion with the Safety Act in order to hold anybody that commits a forcible felony. Anybody that commits any act of violence, or if they feel as though they are a danger to the community in any way, you're left with two options. Those people are either in jail or there's no bail. So the people that commit heinous
So
acts
it's no
that
in
are
between no more. You either gonna
this,
be locked up or they're gonna let you out.
that's right. And that's real justice, because
Mhm.
it precludes the person that is got enough money to not be worried about whatever the bail is. You got some people that say, what do they say in the neighborhood, Tone? Oh, I got bond money.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
got
got
bond money. I
bond
got
money.
lawyer
Oh,
money.
I'll bond out. I got lawyer money. But
Yeah.
see, this
Yeah.
now the Safety Act, what it does to those people is it says it gives the judges and the state's attorney more leverage now, and they can say, your bond money ain't no good here. This is not about your ability to pay. This is about you being a danger to the community. No, we're not even going to set bond for you because you don't deserve to have a bond. But this person that's a low-level offender, that if they get locked up and they impound their car, that not only did they arrest the person, but they just grab their means of transportation, and they have potentially put that person in more of a financial strain, because think about all of the fees that are associated now with this arrest. This person just got arrested. And you just pulled them. The officer just pulled this person over because their sticker was expired on the back of the tag.
Yeah.
And when they pull them over, they find out that they don't have insurance either. That's because we got people at home wrestling with inflation, and that are really dealing with the real life issue of trying to make sure you got food on the table to provide for your loved ones. My mother was a mother who sacrificed for 3 young men, and it was very hard to feed us, and it was very hard to clothe us. And I know it was some nights that she went to bed tired and sleep and hungry, and that she had given our family everything that she had, and she went and laid down. That's what our parents and our loved ones are pressed with when they have to try and put all of these things together. I thought about this the other day. I woke up and I've been campaigning so hard that even as a state representative, somebody that is new to the game, I have been running around so much that I got up the other morning and my water was off. Just after homecoming weekend, I went and I turned it on and I said, wow, thank God. It was at 8:17 in the morning after homecoming weekend. And when I jumped up, I said, wow, they cut people's water off at 8:17 in the morning. You would think they would even wait until 9 o'clock. But when I went down to City Hall and I went and paid to have my water reconnected, the connection fee was more. It was $40. It was as much as my water bill was. You know, and I remember being a younger father with fewer means, and I remember getting the water. I remember a point being a younger man getting the water cut off and not having a $40 reconnection fee.
Yeah.
Well, I took that as an opportunity for advocacy. When I went and paid my bill, I went and paid my $40 reconnection fee, paid my $41 for my water bill, came back home, and I waited on the civil servant to come back around here that is a really cool guy, really good guy named Jimmy. When Jimmy rode around on the block, he pulled up and he said, oh man, I really hate this part of the job. And I looked at him and I said, you know, that's the same thing that they said to me at the water department when I went to City Hall. They said they hate this part of the job. And I said, you know why you hate it? I said, because it's the wrong thing to do.
Absolutely.
I said, because Jimmy, I said, what's amazing is that you saw a car outside at my house. Nobody knocked at my door. You didn't wait until the afternoon to wait and see if anybody that had pending notices, if they were going to get up and go and pay it in the morning. It was more about you all being able to get that $40 reconnection fee from those people that you've been told to go out there and turn those accounts off.
Yeah.
And it has to be about protecting the most vulnerable people in the morning. It has to be about
people in general.
People in general.
Yeah.
People in general. You know, I wish we lived in a world where we took care of each other. I always tell folks, my children make me put things in simple terms. And I always winded up saying stuff like, we can learn a lot from nature. Human beings are the only creature on the planet that use currency. We've commodified everything. Commodified everything. And we're supposed to be the stewards over the planet.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to, and in that stewardship, I'm not saying do away with capitalism and death to currency or any of those crazy asinine ideas, because I know we've married ourselves to a system. But if we are married to the system, we have to provide financial opportunities for everybody. There's no in between. If we made money the means for us to self-actualize, then we have to make money available to everybody on the planet. That means that we have to take care of our weakest links, and we have to provide access to financial literacy, access to home ownership, not public housing, not people stacked on top of each other, but housing that allows people to grow as families, to grow roots in communities, to create businesses and have a sense of belonging. Those are the type of communities we have to establish.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that goes for Canada too. It's not just down in the States. I think that's something we up here can also deal with and learn from, from each other, that this is something that we do need to do, is be working more together as well, even across the state. I don't think one country should just be completely separated from another country, because in so many ways we do work together, whether people want to realize it or not.
Well, I'm gonna say something crass, but there's no pissing in of the swimming pool.
Yeah.
We all are citizens of the planet Earth. Unless you sprout a jetpack out your bottom and start breathing the atmosphere, you one of me. You know, I don't know about you, but when I was born, I didn't pick my color skin. I didn't pick my parents. I didn't pick the country I was going to be born into. All I know is that I'm here.
Yeah.
And being here, it's an existential conversation that I think that we began to have. When I became 40 years old, I started unlearning a lot of stuff that has been heaped on to me and ascribed to me by society.
Absolutely.
And it just, all of it doesn't feel right.
You
As I
nailed
get
it.
older, I
you
was hoodwinked, I was bamboozled, I was running amok, I was led astray. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Shout
tell
out
you,
to the coaching game. They would make us pay for air if they could to breathe in tax. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
Yes, absolutely. I know, Carrie, you had a question that you wanted to ask.
I did, but I just want to first go back and like just say I totally agree about the fact as we get older, we have to unlearn so many things in our lives because we are learning more and more truths. We have to start even just living our own truths as well, not just what someone says, okay, you have to be doing this, you have to be doing that, and just actually standing up a little bit more for ourselves as well. I did have a couple little questions. I don't know how we are for time here, but one of the things is you kind of touched on inflation. So what are some of the things that you would want to kind of do to help inflation over the next couple of years? And then also some of the morals. I know we've kind of touched upon it through the show, but just some more morals that you do possess that will help the community in the long run.
Well, I love that you act so much in that breath there. You got it all. I said, what's
I nail it. I just right to the point.
right to the point. Right to the point.
I just, your time is so precious and your time is limited. So of course, I want to be able to get as much information to the people as we can. This is the important thing of our show that we like to do because we get such a big audience, and I think it's important to voice your voice.
Yes, absolutely. And voicing your voice means making sure that you vote. Get your vote is your voice. All right.
Everyone
Especially,
absolutely.
I gotta plug that. I gotta plug it. And but we are here's something that I like to capitalize on. Right now we are living in a world where we're more connected than we've ever been, especially through our means of technology. I think we have a responsibility to one another to work smarter and not harder. As a community, we have so many social media outlets, so many platforms that we have mechanisms in order to make our voices heard. As a society and as a community, in that unlearning process and in that seeking a level of morality that we can say that we are doing the best by each other, means that we have to acknowledge that control ends at the end of our fingertips and everything else is influence. Everything else is influence. No matter what I say to you, no matter what I say to you, my control ends at the end of my fingertips. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your body. I'm not going to tell you who to love. I'm not going to tell you how to live. I can make suggestions about things, but I only have control over me. And when we realize that our control is limited to this, then it gives you a different perspective about how we need to interact and work together. That means that when we work together, that's us putting our hands together in order to accomplish a goal. That's us putting our efforts together in order to move the needle to reimagine what and how our community is going to function, what we're going to do as a community, and how we're going to function as a community. It's established through what we do. It's established through understanding that only what we do in life is going to last. So we have to come up with projects, group projects. It has to be about group economics and group politics because we're all affected by each other's actions.
Yeah.
You got to get down to the common denominators on a
100%.
lot of things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Van, you got the people move, man. I love the energy. Shouts out to the culture gang. I have never regretted voting, but I have regretted times I did not vote. That is a t-shirt. That is a movement. That is something that we need to move with.
Bumper sticker right there.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A bumper sticker. Put that on a bumper sticker. You putting it down and I'm picking it up.
Wait, Hold on, there's some coffee mugs right there.
Right. Oh, I love
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing, man.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yes, man. Yes, family. I think our time here is real and
Yeah.
very well used. But if we don't
Yeah.
tell the people to make sure that you get out and participate,
Yeah.
I think that everybody should establish a tradition in their families that on your 18th birthday, that it's a rite of passage that you take somebody out and you get them registered to vote.
Yeah.
People don't realize that even when you choose to abstain from voting, we're still affected as a society by laws.
Yes.
These laws are made whether we participate or not. But
It's actually no, so go ahead.
if you're not at the table, you dinner.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was gonna say that actually is a moral right of ours as human beings to vote. We actually have a moral right to do that. So
Yes.
get out there and vote.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Shouts out to the Culture Gang. Vicious
Yeah.
999, one of our loyal supporters, says,
Absolutely.
say it louder for the people in the back. What we do in our community affects the others in the community. That is a fact. Van
That's
of the
it.
people, you got the Culture Gang going crazy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man.
They
Well,
feeling
it's a
the
blessing.
energy, and it is, man. It is something that that's needed, man. And we're gonna have you back, man. We're gonna continue to push a narrative because you are one
Please,
of them
man.
voices.
I can't wait until we can talk after election day and we can tell the folks how we started as a write-in campaign and that we went against all odds. We made our own seat at the table, regardless of the finances, regardless of the hurdles, and regardless of the learning curve. It was in our willingness. It's in our yes, and it's in our challenge to do something different, to stay engaged, and to do something outside of ourselves. Right now, I've had to get me out of the way in order to be the best public servant that I can be to the people that need me to go and tell their stories.
Yeah.
I get to be a storyteller. I don't have to do this. I get to do it.
That's amazing, man. And it's something that you're doing so well, brother. Now I know you got so much going on, man, with everything that you got going with the campaign. So before we let you get up out of here, man, is there anything that you want to say to your constituents, the people who have been supporting you? What message that you want to address, and let everybody know how they can support, how they can get in contact with you, how they can become a part of your movement, donations, so on and so forth. Because we all need to put our hands in, like you said, and touch, so we can kind of change what's going on in the culture. So if there's something you want to let everybody know and how to get in contact with you, man, what you want to say to them, brother?
Many hands make for light work.
Mm-hmm.
Many hands make for light work. We have an opportunity to understand that we get to change our pronouns. It's not a me thing. This is a we thing. This is a moment where we all are held accountable. This is about our willingness. What are we willing to do? Are we willing to look at our environment? Are we willing to change our pattern of behavior? Are we willing to consider each other allies and to champion each other? We get to do this. We don't have to do the work, but we get to do it. We live in a world that tells us to be desensitized. And we live in a world that sometimes tells us only to look out for number one. But that thinking has got us nowhere. That thinking has us in a place in life where we have stopped fellowshipping together and that we forgot that we are each other's most valuable commodity. The most valuable thing on the planet are people. So I need your help. I want everybody that is on our broadcast, everybody that's watching, to go to my Facebook page and to just like, share, comment on the post. Be a part of the community. Help us spread the word, because it's just not about what's going on here in Illinois. It's about how we can impact the world. I subscribe to 3 ideas as a professional mover. What I do provides me with independence. I do what I want to when I want to do it. The second I is what I do is impactful. I have a sense of completion every day when I'm done. And number 3, it gives income. Income. We have to send everybody out here to Money Due University because crime is a symptom of extreme poverty. All of our needs are tied to us having confidence in each other, us sowing our seeds together and making sure that we take care of one another. We got to view it as a privilege and not an option. We got to make sure that we take care of the most vulnerable people, women, children, elders, and our planet. Because if we don't have a biosphere at the end of the day, none of this means anything. We've got other people that are on the ticket that I want you to pay attention to, people that are in leadership. Pay attention to not only what they say, but how they say what they say.
Yeah.
And decide whether or not if you really want that person or those characteristics to be what is representative of how you feel. That's what we have to get back to.
Yeah.
We got to get back to stuff that not only make head sense, but it got to make heart sense.
Oh.
We gotta talk about how, you know, how I talked about that, my water getting cut off. We gotta think about that family that don't have the $40 to get it turned on. We got to stop making laws that criminalize people for just being poor, not having enough. We got to question the practices of businesses that charge poor folks a higher interest rate because they poor. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Because you got bad credit, because you can't really afford to get a new car, they charge you more for it.
They charge you more.
I know, that's so crazy. Oh my goodness.
Shouts out to the culture gang. Well, you got my vote. They speaking. They speaking, man, and they say somebody else in the culture gang say, what was that line again? Many hands and light work. I have to use that.
Many hands make for light work.
Oh man, dropping jewels all over the culture, man. Van,
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
This is what the culture need. You know what I'm saying? That name Van of the People is not something that just sounds good. It's something that you live. It's something that I have personally seen you practice beyond you running for state representative. That's principles and codes and morals that you stand for 24/7, 365, twice on Sundays. That is the man that you are. You know what I mean? So, brother, I'm so proud of you, and it is just amazing to see the journey that you've taken. And we just get started, man. Van of the People.
Man, yes.
You're doing amazing things in the community, bro.
This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. So everybody, please reach out to me on my Facebook or reach out to me at our website, vanofthepeople.com. Van of the People, Ikner, State Rep 118 here in Southern Illinois. You can find out any information about me. You'll see some incredible stories. Not only Tone knows I'm a gunshot survivor, and we just are barely scratching the surface. Shot 12 times and survived, and advocating for my community because I understand that we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're wrestling against the idea that we need to be able to self-actualize and that we need to equip the most vulnerable people in our community with that ability.
Thank you so very much for sharing and just spreading these important messages. I mean, all over the world right now, we are literally airing all over the world, and it's just incredible, important messages that everyone does need to hear, not just in the States, here in Canada, everywhere. It's incredible. Thank you for your time, your energy, your words. Couldn't have asked more. Thank you so very much.
Thank both of you. Thank you all so much.
You're
Carrie,
so
thank you. Big Wall, you are absolutely a blessing. Please invite me back.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Brother, we are definitely gonna have you back because you know, like I said, we just get started, man. They have no idea what they didn't unleash. They have no idea.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Power to the people. Power to the people.
Absolutely.
That's it.
We want to thank you for coming on, man. We're gonna let you go, brother. We're gonna tap in real soon. And we appreciate you coming through for helping us connect these cultures, bro.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessings, y'all. Y'all have a good evening.
God bless you too.
Thanks.
Carrie.
Big Wall.
Yes. That is what I am talking about. Van of the people. You know what I mean? He is somebody that speaks it, that lives it, that represents it, and you feel so connected to his story. And he touches so many people in such an amazing way. That's why I wanted him to come on the platform and talk to us, so our audience can get the opportunity to see what the world finna see, man. He just gets started.
That's true. And I think, it is actually kind of cool to be able to share these, like you said, our cultures across both boards, because it's kind of like everyone sort of needs to work together, have that community spirit, be able to learn from each other as well. Because I think if we're capped off, we're just Canada and you're just states, but we do, like, we work together in so many different ways, like
absolutely
trading and with goods and services back and forth, whatever, like everything, you name it, right? So if we all kind of have the same morals and we're kind of working together, chances are, things are going to be a lot better in that sort of a sense, right? So hopefully, like our prime minister can listen to these words too, and to be able to go, hey, I like what he has. His morals are amazing. We like to have, just like his qualities of just everything it's so good. And like we said, just talking about how when someone can't afford just a speeding ticket or something simple, that they get incarcerated for something like that is insane. So also don't judge a book by its cover, because you don't know, the simplest a person could be in jail, and we just think, oh, someone went to jail. We automatically assume it's something really bad. So we can't really go by that. Just kind of have a moment to actually listen what people stand for, to what they're going through. Chances are we're going through the same thing, or someone we know is going through the same thing, and we need to help each other out just that little bit more. And especially, I think, over the next, I'm going to say every day, but more or less, I think just a little bit more after all this whole pandemic and everything, just to step up and just to reunite everyone together again, and just be like, hey, let's just be here for each other, because that's what it's about, right?
That's lost. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
It's a lost art these days, where we just caring for each other and just being there, with no agendas, no motives. You know what I mean? These last few years has definitely put a light on humanity that I don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really shows
Well,
you.
I've seen some dark things, and I'm like,
absolutely. You know what I mean? So when you come across people who have that light and trying to create it, and use that light to create positivity throughout the world and in their own environments, it's something that needs to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? It's something that needs to be spoken on. So
I think we do need to have more on this for sure. And I think we need to have any guests that do want to come on and talk about it to be able to come on and voice their voice as well. Like, I'm welcoming anyone back, and anyone that just wants to come on the show, contact us. And, we don't mind having these discussions. Like, we do love to have fun on our shows, and we love to have different guests, and we love to just have, like we said, everyone to have their voice kind of being heard, and just their importance of just being here and connecting each other, and just let's just grow, and let's just, really connect to everything. So thank you, Big Wall, for this too, for getting our guest on this evening. I have to say that was, I think it was really good and really important. I think this was the time to have done it as well. So I appreciate that. So this whole thing of waiting for him to come on it was perfect timing. So
it was no problem, Carrie. This is what we do, man. We just getting started. We've done some amazing things with this show, and we're gonna continue. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Shouts out to everybody that's supporting the culture game. I guess I'm gonna have to vote this election. We like that type of energy. Yes, go vote. Vote for Van. Vote for people who you feel represent you, and it's gonna actually do what they say they're gonna do. You know what I mean? So shouts out to the culture game. Shouts out to Jess TV for always holding us down, representing us. You can also check out Jess TV on 101. That's SSH 101 on Roku. Tap into Jess TV. Tap in to Underground Radio C, Address the Culture, all the platforms that we tapped in. Hip Hop TV across the world We appreciate you guys for the continued support. And you already know the vibes. We're going to be back next week with the same type of vibe, same type of energy, giving you news you can use, interviewing great people. Some you know, some you need to know. You already know the vibes. So until next week, I'm your boy, Big Wall.
I'm your girl, Carrie.
And this is the Culture Connection. And like I always say, your culture makes you who you are. So make sure they respect it. We're going to catch you on the next episode. We up out of here.
All you gotta do is hush, you ain't gotta say much when you make that right connection. If you wanna double up, keep the money in the tuck, I can put you in the right direction. I can never get enough, all I got is us, I speak the true confession. Everything goes smooth cause I stay on the move and make them right connections. All you gotta do is hush, you ain't gotta say much when you make them right connections. If you wanna double up, keep the money in the tuck, I can put you in the right direction. I can never get enough, all I got is us, I speak the true confession. Everything goes smooth cause I stay on the move and make them right connections.